this is the shifter, high-low shifter that's got duct tape on it. So I wonder if the housing's cracked or what's going on here. We'll have to take it apart and see. Okay, the shifter. I'm going to deal with this. I don't know what's going on here. Let's get rid of this duct tape. Get it dried out. Okay. Tape on the micro switch. Oh, because there's a screw missing there. Okay. And this, more duct tape. Looks like that's been taken apart. There's a screw missing there. Screw missing there. Another screw missing in that switch. Like I said, the switch still operates. Like it's intact. Tape just to cover up the dust getting in that hole. I don't know. Let's take it apart and see what's going on. Okay, screws are out of it. Let's see. Take it apart here. I can do this with one hand. I see. Shifter just slides in that groove. To flip this lever that trips the switch. I'm just going to clean this out. With simple green. Soak a little bit. Looks like there was some sort of grease in there, so definitely needs something. Okay, I should note, as soon as I took the shifter out, this ball as a ball bearing popped off the end of this spring off the shaft. So I just got to make sure that doesn't get lost and goes back on. Okay, I noticed why that tape was on the shifter. There's a piece of the plastic broke out. As preventative, maybe it was getting, it's not cracked, but maybe just extra measure, they taped it up. Okay, what we're going to do for now is secure this switch. Switch here looks like it's, let's zoom in there a little bit. It's been secured only with one screw. It's been, looks like it's been purposefully moved off its screw hole and melted in that spot. So the switch is permanently moved. But I don't think that's that secure, that little melting corner. So I'm going to apply some silicone, there's a silicone 2 to secure that switch onto the plate here. And then that since the switch is in the right spot, just going to leave that. Just secure it and put this back together. I'm going to get some lithium grease. This had some original grease that I've cleaned off. I'm going to re-grease this and then put this back together. So that's the two things I'm going to do to that, because everything looks fine. This little break here, there's not much I can do with that. I could, once I get it together, I could add a bit of silicone to secure it. But I'm going to do those two things. Glue the switch and grease this shifter when I get it all back together. That should be good. This stuff hardens up really well. Creates a really good bond, so that's that. We'll have to let that dry. Okay, the item on my squeaky chair. The item had a chance to dry, and that silicone is hardened up, so that's good to go. We're going to, when we put this together, we're going to put some grease. It reminds me, I should grease this chair so it's not so squeaky. And I was going to use lithium grease. Had to buy another tube because I can't find the one I have. And I use this grease for pretty much anything, small electronics. But while I was there, I was pondering, which is this okay grease, and it didn't say it was for rubber. Like this is technically what we're going to grease here is rubber and plastic, and this describes, metal products. Works on door hinges, fans, door rollers, but alongside that was this Permatex synthetic grease, and it describes as using, or I should say, for different applications, but one is metal, rubber, and plastic. So this is why I picked this up. I'm going to use this grease because I know it's not going to break this rubber down and plastic down over time. The chemical in it. This may, because it's not made for rubber and plastic, but this is, so I'm going to use this. Okay, we're going to apply this to my chair. No, to my chair after. Maybe I'll do my chair now. Hang on. Where's that squeak coming from? Okay, I'm going to use this lithium grease. I don't know where the squeak's coming from. Can't exactly tell. It's like in this joint here. Oh, I think I got it finally. Oh, no. What a pain. I think it's in here. Probably can't see that. Okay, they're down to this spring. Quite the side project. Man, oh man. Okay, I had to cut this dust cover open here so I can get some grease in there. See the spring. It's a stem that sticks out through the spring. Probably that shaft that's squeaking. Yes, this is not very graceful. I've been avoiding this for years. Yeah, small thing, but yeah, I knew it would take a while to look at and get fixed. Most people just throw the chair away. So I'm going to put some contact cleaner in here. It has built-in lubricant. Give her a test. By George, I think I've got it. What? No squeaky chair? My signature squeaky chair is gone? I don't know. I have to put the squeak back in it. I miss it now. Okay, that took way longer than I thought. Okay, back to what we're doing. Okay, where were we? Synthetic grease for plastic and rubber. We're gonna put this on. So pretty much need grease, obviously, on the surfaces that rub. So we'll have some here, here, in that groove on both sides of the ball. I don't want to put too much on the top. I don't want it oozing out the top. Also on the spring and ball that ride in the bottom of this cup here, that gives you a bit of tension, and you know that's a moving part too. Apply, that spring goes in there. The ball rides on the bottom. And cleaned it up somewhat. We're going to apply some more grease. You do traditionally apply grease to a spring. I know that seems weird, but prevents corrosion, and it's a moving part. Especially inside like a cylinder like that, it rubs on the outside. And we'll put, oh, this is clear. Put some in there as well. Not really in the bottom, but along the outside edges of it. Okay. I'm going to put some here because this stem rides in the bottom of that plastic portion here. And then the ball rides along the bottom. I guess seeing that, probably put some grease along the bottom too. You don't want it a lot. We don't want it to stick or get jammed, but get it in there. We've got to fit this all together at once, so we'll get some grease. Camera's not my favorite thing here. I do a lot of other stuff off camera because me and camera we don't seem to get along. Trying to cooperate with it, the right angles. The data card, SD card is full, and I gotta stop, or the battery goes dead. You know, combination of these things. It seemed to just, you know, these things need to be set up, and to me it just delays anything getting done. And I'm more about production and making sure these things get done. Doesn't seem like I have a lot of projects going on, but I do. I just don't tell you about a lot. I've got 4 record type consoles, all torn apart in various degrees, and a couple arcade games down. Galaga's fire button doesn't work. Centipede's trackball's not working. Yeah, I have a list. So yeah. Okay, let's see what we do. Putting the ball bearing in there. Springs in the shaft, ball bearings in that groove. Line that up together. Shaft is now in the holder. Now, there's still one thing. There's this plastic thing that's gotta go in. Where does that go? Oh, it goes in this piece. Grease seems to stick. A light film, but not very much of it. Clean that up. This little piece here goes in this hole. That's what engages this switch on here. Okay, this switch is engaged. Okay, now this goes on. Okay, the switch isn't lining up here. Let's adjust that. Let's put shifter in the opposite position. That makes sense. Push that all the way in. Put this on. There. Gauges that switch. That's your shifter, high to low. It's moving quite freely. There's just a little bit of grease I see on top, which is perfect. There's not too much. Okay, love it. Action is good. Let's put the screws back. I only have 4 screws, and it looks like 2 of the screws are different than the other 2, so whatever they did in the past, I don't know. There's also, so I'm thinking I'm short 2 screws, so there's 3 holes in each side. But when I look closer, these 2 holes on either side, they don't line up with the holes on here. So you have 1 hole here and 1 hole up here. So those screws were never in there. So I don't know if this came from 2 different shifters with the holes not matching up. Made it work with the switch, taped it up because they knew there was kind of the integrity is compromised because there's only 4 out of the 6 screws in here. So before I put this together, I'm going to drill these 2 out. Put a hole right below. And same with this one. There's enough plastic. I'm gonna drill through here and put a hole just below this one so I can get 6 screws in. I have to find 2 more screws, which shouldn't be a problem. Okay, I have drilled out these holes. There's an additional hole here. This is the hole we're going to use. And got a couple of screws. They're not the same, but we're going to use them. I'm going to get the original screws in first. Always try to put screws in evenly. Don't tighten one all the way. So it gives a little bit of play to move around. I don't want to crack, back this off a little bit. I don't want to crack this plastic, this old plastic. Probably easy to crack, so. Okay. So these 2 larger screws, okay, this hole's not exactly lined up perfectly. Yeah. I don't like that. A nice easy thread going in. I don't have thread a tap to make threads. The hole is should be just big enough to create a thread without a major force. So I'm just going to go back and forth a little bit. This one seems a lot better. Yeah, that's going to go in just fine. This one is drilled a little off center, so that definitely contributes to a problem there. Try to go easy. Yeah, it's really off center. Might have to take it back out to the garage and drill that hole a little better. Okay, everything's good now. Actually, I missed drilling that hole out. Well, I drilled the hole in the side where the screw passes through, but the threaded side needed to be a little bit bigger because these are bigger screws, and I didn't drill that threaded side. So now this can go in. That helps, you move it in, move it back, bring it in. It gets easier every time. So yeah, that's right in. No problem. Okay, yeah, it's critical to get the hole diameter right, or else you're gonna crack this old plastic. do the other side as well. Okay, together. Switch engaged. Okay, that looks pretty good. Minus the tape BS here. I guess I could clean that, but I'm not going to. Excellent. And for those that are curious, the shifter does work. The switch on the shifter, I should say. It's a little worse for wear, but as you can see, switch is engaged, continuity is on, off, on, off, on. Alright, that should work. So that's your pole position shifter. This may be in also the Sprint series of racing games, but this is a pole position shifter back together.